Hello，你好，欢迎 back，welcome，欢迎 back，what the hell，欢迎回来，welcome back. You see, my Chinese and my English is all jumbled together. Anyway, the date is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. Now, today, rather than taking you through some old ancient Chinese history or proverb as we usually do on Wisdom Wednesday, I'm going to share a personal experience with you. Uh, in many ways, this will seem a little bit more like a Soul Search Sunday episode, but I chose to put it here because there is a certain amount of wisdom in this story. Or there's a certain amount of wisdom in determining the outcome of this story. Okay, so true story, very recent. In the fall of 2025, at the end of September, as some of you remember, that Kitten and I journeyed to Eastern Canada with a bunch of uh, disabled artists from Canada and some from Korea. We were part of this Canada Korea Art Exchange, Cultural Exchange Art Exchange program that brought artists together from both sides, and we toured Canada with our artworks, and then we went to Korea with our artworks. Needless to say, it was a fantastic journey. We all learned a lot about each other and about each other's culture. Had a lot of good food, had a lot of great conversation, and visited a lot of great art galleries and put on some fantastic shows. If you look back on this channel, like I said, this is quite recent, so it won't take very long. But if you just backtrack a little bit, um, look at videos, especially shorts, uploaded around 2025 September to November, you will catch some of those moments that I have uploaded. I will definitely add more as time goes by because I got so many photos and videos from that trip that I still need to sit down and sort through. Um, so this story happened during the Canadian leg of the journey. When we first met our Korean artist, they like as it's very important in the Asian culture, gave us a lot of gifts. They had gifts and artworks and little toys and keychains for all the Canadian artists. Honestly, it was a little bit embarrassing because none of us thought about buying something for them in return. Here in Canada, gifting on this scale is not really a thing unless it's Christmas or something like that. So we were a little bit awkward and we enjoyed the gift, but we had nothing to give in return other than thank you, welcome to Canada. um, so after that, for a couple of days, this really stuck in my mind because me from a Chinese culture, I understand gifting, and honestly, not having a gift to return to them, it just seemed really rude, really against my own upbringing. It's like I kept hearing this little evil voice inside that say, "What? Were you raised in a barn? Don't you realize that you need to give them something in return?" I'm like, I don't know what to give them. We are in different parts of the country. I have no idea where to go shopping and what to get them. Ah, but then I thought, wait, so why don't I use my hotel time when the times when we are resting in a hotel room? Why don't I make a piece of tiger tactile, special tactile art for each of them? Um, this way, it's something totally special, totally unique, and handmade and relevant to this trip. good idea, right? So I started getting to work. Now, keep in mind, because the trip we were on was to promote uh, artists and artworks and stuff like that. So our schedule was very, very full. There was a lot of rushing, getting on the bus, getting on the plane, getting to this gallery, getting to that gallery, meeting here for dinner, meeting there for lunch. A lot of rushing around. So my time to actually work on these art pieces was relatively limited, and I wanted to give these pieces to them uh, on during the farewell ceremony at the farewell dinner. The farewell dinner was slotted for Thursday of that week. It was already Monday, right? So I started working like a demon. And by Tuesday, I had 6 pieces out of the 12 finished. My plan was to do 12 pieces because each Korean artist also had a family member or a caregiver or an escort that traveled with them. It didn't feel right to just give it to the artist and not their companion. So I wanted to do 12 pieces for the 6 artists and the 6 companions. So yeah, by Tuesday I had 6 pieces already finished. I, like I said, I worked like a demon. I missed a lot of sleep. Uh, Tuesday morning we had to go visit a local gallery. The entire group had to go visit a local gallery. So after snapping some quick pictures, by the way, if you want to see some of these samples, I'll include the photos in my post on Instagram or Twitter or X. And also, if you check out the Johnny Tiger Experience blog, and the photos will be there on the blog post as well. The address of the blog is johnnytigerexperience.blogspot.com. All one word, all lowercase. johnnytigerexperience.blogspot.com. So that morning, I snapped photos of the completed artwork, and because we were in a hurry to get to the gallery, I leave them on the table in our hotel room, and we rushed out the door to go to the gallery. Imagine my horror and my dismay when we came back to the hotel room after lunch and my artworks were gone. Every single piece. Nowhere to be found. Nowhere in the room. Not in the drawers, not under the desk, not on the desk. Nowhere. I panicked. I literally freaked out and I called the front desk and I said, "Hey, I left some artwork on the desk in my room when we left this morning. Can you ask housekeeping what happened to them?" And the front desk said, "Oh, well, we need to get a hold of housekeeping and they'll call you back." It took almost an hour before housekeeping finally got back to me, and they said, "Oh, uh, let us track down the lady who cleaned your room, and then we'll see what happened." Another half an hour went by, and then they called me back again, and they said, "We talked to the lady who cleaned your room. She said there's no artwork on the table. There was just a bunch of scraps and garbage, and she threw them out already." I felt a thunderclap in my head. All the work I've done in the previous day and a half, missing sleep, missing rest, missing spending time with my girlfriend who I was traveling with, all that work just vanished. And how can this happen? I was so mad. Like in some instances, in some angle, this felt like a personal. affront, a personal insult. It's like someone looked at my artwork and said, "This is trash," and threw them away. How can that be? Like, I have my artwork traveling all over Canada. My artwork is going to Korea. My artwork is shown in multiple galleries. How can someone look at this and say it's trash? Now, after I calmed down and analyzed the situation, I realized yes, it could easily happen, right? If you put ourselves in the mind of a house cleaning, a room cleaning lady who might not even be from this culture, who might not even speak English. In fact, actually, I think she did not speak English. It was a Chinese lady who didn't speak English. So there is already a cultural language barrier. And now, those of you who think of my artwork, who've seen my artwork before, you might be thinking beautifully framed tiger tactile artwork on the wall. Well, that's the finished product. Remember, these were pieces that I finished, but I haven't had time to frame them or anything. So they were basically a bunch of cardboard and wood and aluminum pieces on the table. So, yes, afterward, when I think about it, it could easily be thought of as scrap and garbage because the person probably did not sit down and look at the picture on each piece of aluminum metal. They probably just saw aluminum, cardboard, and wood and decided garbage, and out they went. I asked the cleaning staff. I said, "Can you guys retrieve it from the garbage?" And they said, "Oh no, we are sorry. The garbage truck has already took it today, so there's nothing we can do. Sorry." I am not ashamed to admit I raged out. I wanted to break the window. I wanted to trash the desk. I wanted to rip out the carpet in the room. I was so mad at that moment. And I continued to be really mad for the next few hours. It was the kind of anger that literally made me see red, and I'm totally blind. Okay, I'm like I was so angry that the blind guy saw red, and make it hard to concentrate. My head was ringing, my ears were ringing. I talked to the organizer of the trip, and they said we should pursue this. We should talk to the management and have the people uh, who did this be responsible. We should pursue the matter uh, with hotel management. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to say I want their hide. I wanted to say they need to pay for this. How dare they just throw away someone's artwork like this? But then two things happened in my head simultaneously that made me say to the organizers, you know what? No, it's okay. It I'll, it's just artwork. I'll just make them. I might not have them ready by Thursday, but I'll do my best. It's okay. Don't escalate it. Leave it in the comment section if you are still watching. How many of you would have escalated the situation, and how many of you wouldn't have? Okay? Because I don't think there's a wrong in either case. I think, in this case, I definitely had the justification to escalate it. But so, what made me choose not to? Like I said, two things happened in my head at that moment that sort of puts a break on me being angry. So, two thoughts occurred that cooled me down. And it's those two thoughts I want to share today as the Wisdom Wednesday's wisdom. One was a memory, a memory of when I was in grade 8 in high school. Some of you don't know this, but even when I was in grade 8, I was already an amazing artist. And this is not me boasting about me being an amazing artist. I'm just saying that, you know, as a grade 8, I was getting first prize. I got to getting award in art and music almost all every year from grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. I got music and art award almost non-stop every year. Grade 8, my medium wasn't this aluminum etching. In grade 8, my medium was soapstone, clay statues, wood carvings. So there was this one time when I just spent 3 weeks finishing this massive clay statue. It was a king sitting on a throne decorated by uh, 20 or 30 roses with his sword laying by his feet. And the king was in full armor, like very medieval fantasy, very power fantasy piece. Uh, Even today, when I think about the roses and that statue, they were amazing. Um, so for those of you who never worked with clay in that large scale, it's when you make something that big with clay, it's very hard to dry. Before it's fully dry, you can't stick it in a kiln. You can't fire it. Before you fire the clay, you got to make sure your statue is uh, dry all the way through. Otherwise, it's going to crack and all that stuff. So this giant statue has been sitting on the shelf in the art class, drying, and every day I would go in there and smooth out cracks that have developed. Because yeah, that's another thing. When the clay is drying, cracks will appear, and you need to go back in with wet clay and water and tools to even that out or do something with it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a really uh, crackly, pockmarked statue. So every day I was tending to that statue and waiting for it to dry all the way through, and it was so close. And then one day I came into the classroom and my statue was laying on the shelf in pieces. y- you guys might not have any idea to visualize how heartbreaking that was for a grade 8 child uh, to put in all this work and then see your creation laying there in pieces on the shelf like some murdered victim that just got discarded. I freaked out and I asked the art teacher what the effing hell happened. And the teacher told me that the janitor was cleaning the room and she was trying to mop the shelf. Yes, Tiger. The janitor was trying to mop the shelf and uh, didn't realize how brittle the statue was and how heavy it was. Uh, she thought it was a completed uh, finished piece. So she grabbed it like she would any normal statue and tried to pick it up and move it. And yeah, it was still really brittle because it's not being fired yet. So it cracked into pieces the moment she tried to pick it up. I went to look for the janitor lady and I screamed at her right there in the hallway. I cussed her out with every English vocabulary I knew in my young head. And she kept apologizing, but I was just like this close to hitting her, right? I was so mad. I was so mad. Afterward, my art teacher took me aside and said to me, I totally understand your reaction because honestly, that was a beautiful, really beautiful statue, and I'm very sorry. that this happened, and I understand how sad and angry you are, but you don't have the right to cuss her out like that. I couldn't understand it. I said, she broke my statue. Any freaking idiot would know that you need to be careful when you are cleaning an art class. Any freaking idiot should know that if it's on the shelf and it's not glazed and not fired, you don't touch it. My art teacher said, you are talented and privileged. You are here getting an education in a civilized country where you can put your talent to work in art and music and learn about clay, learn about how clay have to be fired, how to work clay, how to turn them into beautiful things. But this lady and other people like her, they never had the privilege, they never had a chance to even get an education. They have no idea how is a clay different from uh, wax or stone. They have no idea that you even have to fire clay statue. So she did not do this because she's malicious. But she did this because she purely, simply doesn't know. That put me in my place. And I thought, yes, yes, he's right. Here I am, sitting in a comfortable environment, comfortable class, making clay while this lady is cleaning to feed her family. How can I fault her for not knowing how clay is made, how brittle it is? There's no way she would know. And it was this memory uh, that sort of say, whoa, whoa, okay, hold on. You don't want to escalate this situation because the cleaning lady, this lady that doesn't speak English, this lady from China, there's no way she would know your tactile art. I mean, most people in Canada don't even know about Tiger Tactile and how it's made. How would this lady know? The second thing that pulled me up short was a revelation. In my head, I suddenly had this thought: art should be for good, art should be beautiful. My art, anyway, my art is meant to educate, my art is meant to bridge the gap between the sighted world and the non visual world. My artworks are meant to inspire, bring a smile to someone's face, and make someone think. I don't want this lady to get her paycheck docked or lose her job or at the very least get yelled at. I don't want that to happen. And then from this day on, anytime she think of a blind person, she hear blind artist. Any time she hear about tactile art or art for the blind, this is a memory that's associated to it. No, I do not want anyone to have to be sullied like this. So that basically was the conclusion to this experience. We did not pursue it, we did not escalate it. I uh, bit the bullet and didn't get much sleep for the next 2 days. But happy thought, at the end, I was able to finish the entire set and present it to our Korean friend during farewell dinner. So all's well and all ended well. And no one had to lose their job or get yelled at. Everything was okay.